What's up, world, and welcome back to Global Frequency. I am your host, Nefarious.
And I'm Frequency Girl.
And with us tonight, we have Simon Poitier from Inkslayer Comics, here to tell us all about his new comic book crowdfunding campaign, Natverse number 2, with that exclusive limited ash can.
Exclusive? It's exclusive.
You just can't just let me get through something.
I mean, I didn't say exclusive. No, I mean... No, that's my job.
Now funding on Indiegogo. Sim, what?
It's not your day, Neff.
No, it's not. I clicked join and then she clicked remove.
No, we both clicked join at the same time. Whose job is it to press buttons?
Apparently yours. You're pushing all the buttons today. What's up, Sim? Been a while since we had you on, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I am, and I love coming on the show, and I'd like to see you guys. How are you guys doing?
We're doing all right. We're glad to have you with us. You look fine and dandy in your beanie there.
Ooh,
nice. What you got? What you got? You've got beautiful art.
Yeah, the camera doesn't pick up too well on it, so I took some scan. I'm going to show you guys after.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, I could see that. Censored.
We appreciate the censor.
We can't see that. More censoring.
That one is sold already. That one's available, and you got this.
Oh, nice, and that's the Bisley art. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That Bisley art's already spoken for, right? Like you put the. Oh, really?
No, I just put it back live.
Oh,
nice.
You're telling me that, man, you're gonna make it hard on me, huh?
But you know what? I'll make it even extra hard
art
for you.
Exclusive to the campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me make it even extra harder for you. You know that the Preston cover for the ash can?
Yes.
It's an actual sketch cover from Tales from the Natverse 1 that was painted by Preston, and it's on the campaign. And it comes with the ash can, then that mini and the print. So it's not just the
Dude, you've got it going on. You figured out how to market this. You've bundled all the good stuff together.
But I was listening to people. You know, I'm always around. I like to listen to people. I may not interact in all the the exchanges, but I listen to all the the comments of people. And one of the main things that people were saying is we like the idea of having a second chance campaign, especially that people understood why I had to close it. 1, I was delayed. 2, there's no point for me, since I'm international, to just leave it without promoting up, right? Because there's an extra $25 fee every time. So I was like,
right,
I'm going to close it down, and when everything's back in line, I'll do the thing. But then people were saying, when you do the second chance campaign, please make it special. Do something special for it. Like, make it stand out. And I'm like, what can I do? And then I thought about, well, I can do the mini. And I make a bullet casing, so you get a 2-inch mini now with a bullet casing.
Dude, the bullet casing is a dope idea. It's going to be so much fun to paint that.
But one of the things I want to do is I want to print it in transparent resin. Right, I'm going to buy a bottle of transparent resin, so you can leave the window open, or you can paint half of it. Right?
Oh, cool! So it looks like it's also like a container for his transport. Nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
And I want to do all characters that way. And when we get to 6, I'll make the gun charger.
Hell yes! Like the revolver.
The revolver loader.
That's so nice, dude. And I love your long-term plans.
Yeah,
and your long-term plans are so good.
But I'm listening to you guys. It's inspiring me, and I'm thinking of stuff like the ash can. I'm like, okay, how can I make? Like I was thinking of sketch card and this. I'm like, how can I make this interesting and different? I'm like, well, if I make the ash can with its own cover, it has its own Preston cover. Like it's not going to be the cover of any other book. It's the ash can. It's going to be limited, numbered, signed, and I'm going to leave the interior back cover white. So I'm going to make a nice sketch on it, which is going to be bigger than a sketch card. It's going to be like a digest size. Yeah.
Like I love the art that you've got on this campaign to start off with. I gotta say, you did this cover with ink,
Ink
right?
spots. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great
This
cover.
is incredible.
I did
really
the
is.
Color,
pencils.
the detail, the texture on this. Man, you outdid yourself. You've got some nice covers before, but this is just stellar.
Yeah,
I gotta
I
say,
did an
this is
amazing job doing
fantastic.
the paint over. It came out
Yeah.
awesome. Our two styles kind of came out like a mix of Bisley and Frazetta. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I look at it, it's like it's an in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I definitely do.
I
like
love
this
that cover.
this cover grabs you. You know what I mean? Like this
Yeah.
cover is really an attention getter. I love
And
the,
I want and I wanted to highlight the two characters and like you know, like the first book you were teased Luani, and I wanted to be clear when you saw the cover that she's coming out, like she's on the bike and
Definitely.
she's jumping towards you, like I'm here.
I love the motion on the bike too. The way that the way that Nat is holding his gun at that angle. It's so good.
that he's leaning, that he does have the weight.
Yeah, the way he's leaning and like the way that he's holding the gun, sort of like presenting it forward. It's just it's so accurate. I think it's great. It was really well done with the pose. Of course, you got to have a sexy print, right?
Yep,
The,
and that's
the
the
beach
swimsuit
print.
special. Yep.
Yep.
That was
Good
penciled
stuff,
by
good
me,
stuff.
inked by Scotsman, colored by Beacon, and I liked
And-
it so much. And it's very exclusive. We're gonna print just enough to fulfill, and it's gonna be signed by me. And Beacon.
And I mean,
if
that's a
you're in the
scary
US.
crab down there. That's got 4 claws and 3 eyes. That's
But you get the joke, right?
yeah, that's
Yeah, the 3-eye fish.
It's hilarious. That's it's hilarious. Terrible. And then of course there's this. That's the Preston, right?
Yes, and that's available as an original. It's actually a painted cover. Like every time I show the cover to people, they're like looking at, oh, that's fucking good. It's the dude. Look closer, and they go, dude, it's painted.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's hard to notice when it's so freaking nice. Like I'm telling you, when you have it in your hand, you're like, I didn't even want to sell it. Why do you think I'm putting it at that price?
Right.
Yeah, right.
It's the if you really want it, I'll let you have it. But part of me is hoping you don't pick it up so I can keep it. Yeah,
Pretty
I know what
much.
that's like. I do. I know what that's like.
But like I said, it not only does the sketch cover come with the sketch cover, it comes with the ash can, the mini, and the print. So you're not just getting the ash can. I mean the sketch cover.
But
And that's the
technically
colors by Beacon.
technically this is a second chance campaign though, right?
Yes.
And you've like spiced it up by adding the ash can, the mini, that all that other stuff to try and give us yet a more incentive reason to pick up the book on this campaign.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that you're
And I also
spicing it up.
one of the things I also want to precise, it's everybody that backed the first campaign, they got a secret link. So technically, if all they want is to have that ash can, the mini, right, and the print, they already have a little secret tier that I sent to them that they can have it added on to their tier with only like an extra $5 shipping. So you don't have to repay the shipping if you back the previous campaign. And the second thing is, I also mentioned in there and in the email, it's if you don't want the ash can or the mini, just sit back. If anything that's unlocked as a stretch goal, you also get. Because it's for every backer.
Awesome.
It's for the Telso and Natverse two backers. It's not campaign oriented. That's how I'm seeing it because it's complementary. But like you said, I tried to make it look like a different. It's a second chance campaign, but bonus. Like it's something more.
Right.
Right. Like even if you don't take part in the second chance, if you were part of the first chance, you still get. So you think of it as a chance to unlock more stuff for something you already paid for.
Yeah. And then people were asking that they wanted to have a bookmark. So the first stretch goal is a double-sided bookmark.
Nice.
And here's the bullet, the mini and the bullet casing.
Yeah, I finally
Very
put
clever.
the bullet there. I'm taking a chance. Hopefully they won't ask me to take it down.
Nah, I don't know if they're gonna realize that it's a bullet casing. Well, I mean, you do have the word there, so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was gonna mention this later. You are not shadow banned,
Yeah, I was gonna
unlike
say.
so many other people. What is your secret?
Nothing.
You haven't bribed people at Indiegogo to leave you in the algorithm?
And no, and to be quite honest, if you remember my previous campaign, the first campaign was shadow banned.
Yeah.
We couldn't find it
Yeah.
So maybe they're
until
paying for
I
that.
closed it. That's why I keep saying I think it's more of an algorithm of a website problem because they didn't reinvest to build up. Because one of the interviews I watched with the new CEO, she was saying that the previous CEO did not reinvest in the infrastructure. So you open up like the crowdfunding, then they opened up the in-demand. First, the in-demand was supposed to be like very short-lived, right? But now people are leaving them open for years. So knowing anything about website, the more stuff you have on it, the more it takes, the more. So I've noticed that if you go on the search to discover projects, they say funding, then you click on it and it's closed, or it's in demand, or it's something like they can't even keep track in the search. It's freaking. So right now I'm touching wood, and I'm not shadow banned.
So
you know what his actual trick might be? It might be that he says hello to his chat.
I was going to say, so let's say hello. So let's say hello to the chat. I say the word so, and you cut me off to lecture me about saying hello to the chat. All right, go ahead.
This was the joke I was going to make.
Hello, chat.
And I didn't
So go through the list. Go through the list. Go on. It's Monday. Get it out of your system.
We have Mo Biggs in the chat. It is officially a stream, because if Mo Biggs isn't there, was it really a stream? No. We have Ichthus.
What is up, Total Excellence? Glad to have you with us, Ichthus.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in.
We have Creators Outlet.
What's
Hey,
up, Will?
How are you?
I saw you trying to be first, but Sim snaked it out from under you, so no steak for you, my friend.
But he says it doesn't count since I'm the guest.
There is no law that says it doesn't count if you're the guest.
Okay.
There is no law on this channel that says that.
We're lawless.
Sorry, Will.
Unless Mo Biggs says there's a law, in which case then.
But he can
it's
begin
law.
his streak on Wednesday if he shows up early enough.
We have Raiden Radio.
Hey, what's up? Glad to have JP with us.
We also have Hockey.
Can't
It's good
believe
to
everybody's
see you.
out here on a Monday watching this train wreck of a show.
Not a train wreck. We have
It's
Brian
entertaining.
Crisco.
Hey, we got Brian Crisco. What is up?
up?
How's it going? Glad to have you with us, man.
I missed this from Mo Biggs before. This cover grabs you. Finally, Neff knows how Garrett feels. That was a good one.
That
Mo.
is good.
That
That
was
is
very
very
good.
good.
Sorry, I missed that before.
Blue butt cheeks.
That's when you were showing.
Snap. Oh, you already showed those?
Yeah,
You did?
But
All right,
that's
okay,
okay. I
great.
didn't say them out loud, so you have added that extra.
We got 24 eyes with us.
Hey, 24 hours.
Glad to have you with us, my dude. You have to make your Mav on the
Yes.
Mav Builder website because we already started sending stuff out to people, and you haven't made yours yet. And I want to send your special treat out to you. We got Dean with us. Say it.
Good day, good day.
It's not. It's so bad.
It's
That is
so,
like
it's
Long
worse every
Island.
time
Yeah,
I
it's like
do
Long
it.
Island meets Cockney.
That was terrible.
British-
That was the worst of them all,
Right,
I
right.
think, though.
Dean says he's a POC. They can't shut him down. That's true. Yeah, he's a
We
foreigner.
have Luke Stone Studios.
We got Luke. Everybody check out Fund My Comic. Luke is currently funding over there. So are a lot of people.
Yeah.
Mobig says he would get a cease and desist later from B Rose's attorney if he made it a Baldo. Because Mo was saying if you make the bullet, they think it's a butt plug or a dildo, they'll leave it up rather than a bullet.
We have Frog G.
Some people make
Hey,
that joke.
Froggo!
Some people make that joke before, and my answer is pretty much this: as long as you pay for it and it's in your hands, once it's in your hands, you can do whatever you want with it. You can shove it up.
If people want some gnat in their ass, you're not gonna deny them. Brian
got
Crisco
it.
says, absolutely love the first Natverse. Yes, we did. It's right here. It was a
stuff.
you.
great fun. The second one too, the second book, nice and big. Wow, was it a big boy.
116 page.
100, yeah, it was huge.
And just the Planet 69 story is like 40 pages.
If you miss Heavy Metal Magazine, this is a must-have. Absolutely is. I'm glad he's out here supporting you. It's very, very cool. Mobig says, I'm touching wood. Sim is starting to sound like Hyper Wizard on his Atomic Heart stream earlier. I missed that. I was working all day.
Hockey
I don't know if
says
you
it's
for
not Monday.
It's totally
It's
for
Monday.
him. He's in the future.
Yeah, but that's not our fault.
But you guys
Hey,
have that
Warren.
thing, right? You guys have that saying before you say something, not to jinx yourself, you knock on wood.
Yeah. We knock. We knock on wood.
Yes, we know.
Yeah.
But touching wood is it's.
I know, because the French version is touching wood. That's why sometimes I mix it up. Yeah.
Grabbing wood, right? Like,
Hi,
We got and we got Ice Queen with us as well.
Hi,
Thank you so
Ice
much for
Queen.
tuning
What's
in.
up?
Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Good to see you.
Saying hi to everybody. All right, cool.
such a
So
nice
I'm
Thank you all
gonna
for
get
coming.
to some of the questions that I have on this list, like 20 minutes into the show.
Hold on. First,
But first, can you
let
just share my screen
Mobig-
for a sec?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Just for a sec.
Mobig says
The other screen.
yes, we
So
have
you
that
can
same
have-
sim. I just had to make the joke because Hyper Wizard was getting all worked up by the sexy robot.
Oh,
Wanted to
nice.
show you
I
the
like
actual
the.
piece.
Is this
Ooh,
ZBrush?
that
What did
looks
you make this
good.
in?
Remember when I first showed it? It was ZBrush. What I did is I wanted to use Blender, so I restarted from scratch. So this is a new model, actually. I restarted
Wow.
it from scratch. So you have the logo in the back, so it's going to be like 2-inch tall, and then you can see the little slice there, and then boom.
That's awesome.
The badass butt plug.
Yep. So you're going to be
It's
the
a
idea.
bullet.
Yeah, you can leave that little window open if you want, or you could do half and half. So I'm gonna buy resin, transparent resin, and that's how it's gonna be.
That's really cool. How are you printing it? How do you plan on printing it?
I have a digital 3D printer. I have a resin 3D
There
printer
it
that I
is.
bought. I have the UV cooker and everything. Everything's set up. I bought it on the first campaign. Like, I don't know if you remember, I shared the image a while back. I bought an Elegoo Mars 2. So right now I'm just waiting for the cold to subside, because you cannot 3D print with the windows closed. Like, you need a good
Right.
Yeah, you need
Yeah.
ventilation. Yeah.
That's
So I'm
true.
waiting. I'm just waiting for the cold to subside so I can start printing the first ones. We estimate that it's probably going to take like a max of like 15 days to print everything.
Yep.
Because I would
I
I would cast and mold them, but that's also an extra equipment to make sure there's no bubbles in it. And I'd rather 3D print them. Take a bit more time to make sure to 3D print them that they have bubbles in it. You know what I mean?
Molds are a pain in the ass, especially if you're sprue printing. Although sprue printing is really cool because you can assemble and everything rather than relying on individual modeling. But yeah, getting the bubbles out. There's so many different ways to go talking about doing modeling. I really like how everybody's starting to get into the DIY element
Yes.
of merchandising for crowdfunding. Like, we're going to be doing some screen printing for TV for T-shirts.
Well, not screen printing, but
We're
yeah,
going to
we're
be
gonna
doing
our own t-shirts in-house
doing
'cause
stickers and stuff, because
You're
like
gonna do them
the
in-house?
quality of
We're gonna, yeah, that's our next thing, is we're working on doing that in-house instead.
because the quality out there
it's
is
going down.
dubious, and the cost out there is going up.
But
so it's going
that's
to
what-
wind up being cheaper to produce your
we'll
own
actually be able to list our shirts and stuff
for
and
less
everything
than we
for less
can
than what
now,
we have
and
right
we'll actually
now.
make more of a profit listing them for less than we're listing them now. Like, listing a sweatshirt is like $45 or something.
If I had the room and I could afford it, I'd probably do the same thing. That's the end game for most of everybody. Like, just reducing costs and being able to do it
Right.
yourself, so you can just turn it around pretty quickly. Why do you think I got my 3D printer and all that stuff? Scotsman has a 3D printer, so I can send him the file and can print some in the US. You know what I mean? So
That's awesome.
That's the whole idea, is like
Yep.
networking and getting people, to manufacture on the creator side, rather than having to go to a third party manufacturer to do the printing or the sculpting or anything like that.
Dean
What?
wants us to know, for the record, my quality isn't going down.
Okay. I mean, does Dean make stickers?
No, he doesn't. I don't think he does.
Bookmarks?
Do you do? I don't know.
I mean, I did say everybody's quality
Yeah,
is
that's
going
fair.
down.
That's
true.
fair. That's
No, Dean's quality keeps going up. His stock is rising, unlike SVB.
Frog G says the Elegoo Mars 2 is a good choice.
yeah, it's one of the best series of resin printers. Now the thing is, I want to be able to make enough money to buy the Saturn one. I want to buy the bigger one. I want to be able to do like full bust and anyways.
Nice.
But, you know.
That's
So we have been remiss in asking you where you're from and where you grew up.
Who, me?
Yeah, you. I
I'm
mean,
from-
some
I'm
of
from-
our viewers probably don't know. right?
Okay,
So-
so I'm from Montreal, Canada, born and raised in Saint Henri. And right now, I'm actually where I grew up. Remember, I moved not too long ago, so I moved back in the area that I grew up.
How did you fall in love with comic books living in Canada? Do they have comic books out there?
Dude, we have access to all the comic books before you guys even knew what manga was. We had mangas.
Well, I mean, that's not
It-
we
it-
don't really
it's
talk
just saying.
about that on the show.
Seems
You
cool
know,
to me.
We had comic books. We had French comics. We had mangas. So it's like we grew up around this. It's like art in Quebec, you know, the comic book medium it's considered the ninth art. The same thing in France. It's considered like the ninth art. So it's very important here, even though it's not recognized as an actual job now.
So you got into a whole spectrum of different art styles for comics. You had like
I started with
French
Asterix and
bande dessinée. You had
Asterix
manga. You had
Asterix and Obelix.
Yeah, you had
Lucky Luke. Lucky Luke was some of my first, comic books as a kid. Then after that, I got
Nemo in Slumberland. I'm sure as you were growing up, you got into Milo
Little
Manera
Prince.
and some of the naughty stuff. And then heavy metal came along, and you got into once you got into heavy metal, you just got all of the different styles, and it was like, oh my god!
Yeah, because that's where I discovered Meta Baron. When Enki Bilal, Jodorowsky, and all that, I'm like, what the hell is this?
We had
The Gimenez book is like right around. Oh, it's right over there.
The art book? You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Gimenez art book is like, okay, I'll go get it. Fine.
Yeah, I have it right here too.
This thing right here.
Overload.
Yeah, everyone left.
It's too big. This thing is ridiculous.
Oh, you have different ones.
Oh, you
I
got
got the collected. Yeah, I got the
you
giant
used the
collected
comic book,
Gimenez.
So that's a comic book. It's not the art book, is it?
It's the Fourth Power and Star Conspiracy.
Oh, he's talking about the art book. That's just
The art book.
deluxe.
The art book's
Something? I don't know.
You mean this?
Oh, now we're... well, now he can't see because he got up to go check his other...
I'm coming back.
I don't know. The show has turned into everyone just showing the books that they have.
Yeah. Fourth Power. Exactly.
Yes.
You got Fourth Power. Yep.
And the Star Conspiracy, which is
I
actually
think
called
Meta Barons
Leo Hoya.
might be back there. I think Meta Barons might be
There's
back
so
there.
many black rectangles in this campaign to censor.
It's true. Yeah, he's got a lot of
It's a hot campaign.
salacious material.
I had to hide it.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll get in trouble. So,
fine,
what were
you
some
know,
of your favorite comics growing up? Some of your favorite comic book characters?
Growing up, Batman, Superman when I was younger, but like I said, I grew up with Lucky Luke, and Lucky Luke was one of my big favorites. Like Asterix and Obelix was fun, but Lucky Luke was something, the cowboy that shoots faster than a shadow. It's so freaking amazing. Like they actually show you spinning so fast he shoots his own shadow. It's the gimmick of it, and it's one of the inspiration behind that as well. The coolness of him, like the reason why people are, when they look at him, they see like, hey, it reminds me of that Clint Eastwood, this type of old western. Like, yeah, kind of does, because Lucky Luke comes from there. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of everything in that. Like if you want to laugh, it's like look at another part of the inspiration is Futurama.
Yeah.
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 What just happened?
Nothing.
Oh.
Apparently.
But yeah,
Apparently, nothing happened. Nothing. I didn't touch anything.
Neff
It's
didn't
fine.
just accidentally almost
Minimized everything on the screen, so there was.
an exit out of stuff.
As a kid, it was Batman, Superman, Lucky Luke, and stuff like that. But as soon as I hit as a teen, I started being more into the X-Men, Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, and all that stuff. But like I said, I grew up with Meta Baron, and I discovered Meta Baron very young. And as you know, when you read Meta Baron, it kind of like ruins some comics.
It does.
You're like,
yeah.
it just brings the level up that you're like, holy crap. I want more.
The storytelling element too, because Jodorowsky's crazy. Like his storytelling he's crazy, legitimately insane, and you get into these like it is as thick as some of like the gigantic Tolkien books that are out there, like the collected versions. And the artwork is spectacular with Jimenez. And then you like see all the other stuff that he did, like the Incal and the other things that came later. When he was doing his Dune, his version of Dune, and then how all of the stuff that was being designed for that eventually became the props for Aliens, which I thought was absolutely
with Travis Charest.
Yep, Weapons of the Meta Baron.
And this is
Casca.
the origin, yeah. So this is technically the origin of the first Meta Baron. And it's by
Chris Cow
Dan
gets it.
Pastoras.
He says Jodorowsky is one of the true visionaries, both in movies and comics. He really is, and it's so hard to try and pursue the footsteps of greatness like that. But some of us will manage, right? We keep pursuing that, chasing that golden ring, the golden goose. So you will.
But
Neff is trying to get that Bisley, or I am.
That's why you accidentally minimized everything.
you know that one of the inspiration behind the revamp of Lobo was Meta Baron, right?
Really? No, I didn't know that.
Part of it. Yeah, because you know how badass he is, right? You've read how he is. Like, he has no shits. Like, if I got to do this, you're in my way, you're dead. He doesn't care. He's the only one of his species left.
He's crazy strong. And the Incal too. I mean, that he's not crazy strong. The Incal isn't crazy strong, but that's another interesting story that kind of like flows on the heels of that.
The inspiration of the Fifth Element.
We're all standing on the shoulders of giants who are standing on the shoulders of giants. Yeah, man. It's
Does that mean I'm like human size now?
No. You're
and
still
just one thing we could say about Metabaron, just to pick everybody's curiosity, is like, imagine this. It's the top warrior of the universe, right? And they can only have a son. So if they have a daughter, it's not acceptable, right? That was the idea. So you have your son, you raise your son, you train your son. Then your son has to sacrifice a part of himself to technology. So that it be an arm, that it be an ear, that it be whatever, right? A part of technology that would enhance you. And then after that, you have to kill your father. And inherit the power of the, and that's fucked up when you think about it. And then if that's not enough, then there's a moment where the guy gets shot in his junk. How is he going to reproduce? Figure it out.
Yeah, right.
And then one of the babies born with
a new one.
With twins, right? Siamese twin. One part is guy, one part is a chick. One's brain dead, the other one's not. So they make one baby with one. And it's so fucked up when you read it that you're like, wait, what?
So I'll let you in on a little bit of a secret. The Metabarons run was all published by Humanoids, right?
Yes.
The editor on Mavericks just became a senior editor at Humanoids. So the guy who was working with us on our book is just taking over the senior editor position over at Humanoids, which is super cool because like he's telling us all about this stuff and like the history of things over there. It's great. So back to the interview.
Humanoid is amazing. If you don't know, if anybody don't know it, it's some of the best European comics you can even fucking find. It's in that Humanoids. Yeah.
How did you start creating comics? Like, when did you decide you wanted to do this, and how did you get into it?
I always wanted to be an artist, but always drew. Like my grandma said, the first thing I ever did was pick a freaking crayons and start drawing on walls. That was one of the first thing I would do. Like, it was a joke. Like, I was born with a pencil. And the thing is, I always saw it more of a fun thing, but very young, I fell in love with Frazetta. Like, I saw the Death Dealer, and that marked me as hell. Like, the Death Dealer on the horse there. Like, still to this day, I see it, gives me shivers. Like, I love that piece. I don't know why. I look at it, and that made me go, I want to do art. I want to take this seriously. So, started, being more into my art and stuff like that. The comic book part was, I went from being a fan of comic books until I discovered heavy metal and Frank Miller's Dark Knight. Those were really like two of the key moments. That and Daredevil with John Romita there. What is it? Men Without Fear. Those stories made me go like, my friend gave me the big freaking Dark Knight Return. I read this and I'm like, oh, comic books don't have to be just for kids. This is fucking insane. Then heavy metal, Metabaron and stuff like that. And that's when I went, this is what I want to do. I can do what, because I always wanted to do movies, right? Also, because I grew up watching movies a lot, and I'm like, dude, I can do everything in there. And then there was in that way, and way of thinking. I also read an interview with Jim Lee, which I was also a big fan of, saying that he went to dabble into the movie industry, and he came up to the same realization as me, as in, I can do everything I want. Like, I can do a full movie, not have to freaking bother about the ego of freaking Hollywood, the money of special effects, the limitation of this. I can just do whatever I want. Nobody can tell me no.
Yep.
And I'm like, a lot of people, this is what I want to do, and I'm done. That's how I went. Like, this is what I want.
You want to tell stories, you want to tell them with pictures, and you figured out the best way to do that was to write your own stuff and then learn to draw them because, like you said, unlimited scope of your imagination is the only thing holding you back, the ability to put it on a page. It's funny, a lot of people talk about like the limited budget of special effects and how in comic books you have no constraints like that. You can visualize it, you can do it. I was talking to Don Chin about it, and he said the best thing about comics that makes it different than movies is not having to deal with actors.
Yeah.
That's the best part is like your characters in comics do whatever you want, whenever you want. You can, do, and you don't have to deal with the egos of the actors.
Yeah, and they're not going to complain, and they're not going to talk shit about you after because, they're not happy with what they got or whatever.
And you don't have to worry about paying them either, right? We have
No,
80s Made with us.
exactly.
What is up, 80s Made? Thank you so much for tuning in. We're hanging out talking with
Yeah.
Sim about some Natverse. So
The idea is that's the same thing. Like if you listen to interviews with Kirby, he never talked like he is an artist, but he never considered himself an artist when he would be doing comics. You're a storyteller first. It's sequential art, right? It's one of the things why I fell in love with Frazetta. Frazetta was one of the first. Like they were trying to. I went to museums and shit, and you have to admire like the technique, the reproduction, but nothing inspires me. I think it's goddamn boring to redraw a freaking flower, right? It's just there's no storytelling. But then I saw like I saw the Frazetta painting, and then I saw another painting where it was a flower with a freaking water dripping, right? And in the water, you saw an entire different scene of a person in a chair looking at the flower, and I'm like, dude, this is powerful. This is storytelling in one image. And the old saying, like, an image is 1,000, like it's 1,000 word. And if you cannot tell one story or one image, then what's the point of doing that image? And that's the thing that inspires me, that gets me motivated and everything. That's why, when you read my comics, you'll see like a lot of the pages are pretty much animated. Because I want to convey that movement in your head, like one pan, like the way that everything's laid out. Like when I was doing, because when I went back to university, that's why instead of going into arts, because I could have went into art doing painting and sculpturing and stuff like that, but I can all do that. I did that already. So when I decided to go back to university, I decided to go study in 3D animation and special effects, digital design for movies, because I wanted to really, really zone in everything storytelling. I thought that was the main freaking focus right here that I needed, because I already had the skills of drawing. I'm self-taught, so I'm like, that's what got me into university. Because hey, can you draw the David?
Awesome.
Here's the David. You're in. Because I can draw my style, but I can also do anything else.
That's awesome.
80s Made says, I can't deal with, I can't read good. I need more pics, less words. I completely agree. As you see, I can't read word. I try and read things out loud and they come out completely wrong, as we learned earlier in the show. But that's a great way of putting it, because, in a film, you experience the story as it unfolds on the screen. With a comic book, you can pause and explore the images yourself. You can take a look at what's going on in there. Guys like James Stocco or Stocco, I don't know how you say it, but he goes and does crazy details, right? Like insane detail. And you can sit there and you can study a panel of his and pull out all of this visual information that he's put in there. And you can't really do that with a movie. You only have the opportunity to do that with a comic, like you were saying. The image is worth 1,000 words. That's that visual storytelling element. But at the same time, you can infuse motion into your panels. You can give a sense of dynamism to the characters and make it feel like it's animated, make it feel like it's alive and moving.
I always thought that the best thing of a comic, right? It's like, it's not every comic book artist, because some people don't understand that. Like, the idea of like every panel, like the panel is a storytelling tool. So the way you place your panel, one panel needs to lead to the other panel, that it be by an elbow, a shoulder, or something. Everything needs to like convey a story. Same thing with lettering, coloring, and stuff like that, right? Everything's consistent. Like one of the things that I've learned, like, you have some people just shoving blur into their comics to reproduce the blur in movies and stuff like that, right? Yeah. But having the background of the artist side and then learning the other aspect, I also came to realize that that's why when you're doing backgrounds, you want to focus something, do more details on that character you want everybody to look. The further you go, you reduce details. You don't need to put blur, reduce details. That's all it is. Your brain, if you actually put blur, you're breaking the uncanny valley, meaning your eyes will catch the blur just by reducing the details on the thing, because the blur is not there in real life. It's your eye that's doing the
Right, it's the focus.
Yes.
shift.
And
So
you'll
you
notice
get
the
back-
blur when you shouldn't notice the blur. We
Right.
were actually just doing that the other day when we were reviewing panels from which I don't know, remember what book it was, but I was like,
Yeah.
why is this that people are putting the blur effect, the motion effect on things? Because as a static image, it doesn't
work.
look right.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so you're absolutely right with the uncanny valley.
You either reduce the details from what's in the back that you want to detach from the highlighted, person or whatever thing, right? And there's also why we use weight lines. Thicker lines around
Right.
the character that's in the foreground, a medium line in the middle ground, and a really thin line in the background. So a
Right,
mix
with
of
varying
those,
line weights.
Yeah.
That's kind of essential to the depth of, to storytelling depth, right?
Yeah.
Mo says, you can also pause movies these days. Don't let me blow your mind, though. Yes, Mo, I know that you can stop a film and study a frame that way, but the whole point is experiencing the film as it unfolds. The way that comic books use page space, they use space the way that film uses time. You're experiencing film in time as it unfolds. You're experiencing a comic book as it unfolds across pages. So you're doing the page flips and getting into the rhythm, the motion of the comic book, the way that you get on the edge of your seat watching a film unfold in real time. But with a comic book, you can get these great slow moments that you can suddenly stop and really appreciate.
And another thing, like slowing down time doesn't mean just taking more pages sitting at a chair. The best example, like I said, Frank Miller changed my freaking perspective of comics, right? The way you slow down time, reduce panels, put more in one page. It's quite stupid, but that's how it works. If you start just going like 20 page at a cafeteria, no. Condense it to 2 pages, and you slow down time by putting more panels. That's why you go from, when you go to full action, you reduce the panels because you're trying to splash page and this. You want the moment to show in your face, like the movie approach to it. It would be the money shots, right? So they'll be in the big panels, but then that's how you play with time. It's all about panels. It's not. Some people just don't know this. They'll put a lot of panels because they want to condense stuff, but you realize that you're trying to tell us a lot of shit, but slowing time at the same time. The perception of the people. That's what storytelling is all about, and that's what the sequential art is. It's you're playing with the eye, and you have to, like you're saying, if you're trying too much to dictate what they're seeing, it's not going to work. Like putting a lens flare, your lens flare goes, ooh, there's no camera.
Right.
It's not a movie.
Right.
And you can't really put it on the vanishing point, right? Especially
Exactly.
if that's not the focus of the flare. Yeah. Brian Kriskow says that blur effect and the lens flares kill me. And Mo says that he had to fire his ARO artist because of the lens flare and of the shaky cam. Like when you're chasing a monkey in the jungle, clearly the
panels
are
are just all over the place.
Right? So, what drew you to crowdfunding to make your books?
Actually, would be CG. No.
Okay.
No. That's not true. I tried because of Brian Pulido. That's what brought me to Indiegogo. I tried Kickstarter before. It was I failed because I didn't know shit. I came in with a $15,000. I had a possible deal with Preview with Diamond, so they had accepted. But you know how it works, right? You need to technically chip in the money to printing like all the copies.
Right.
Then you'll get your money back because nobody knows me at freaking Quebec Hall to go. Well, yeah. We'll print them and wait for Preview to Diamond to. No. So. That's what my plan was, but nobody knew me. I was new there, and you come in and you're all newbie. I'm like, okay, I'm asking for $15,000. Simon Bisley did this piece. He's going to be doing the cover if we reach that much. I barely made, I think, like 5,000, I think, or 7,000, I think, on the 15K. So we never made it. Then I tried again with the Art of Sim, which was me trying to do the Tales on the Natverse first, but I didn't call it the Natverse. I called it the Art of Sim, and everybody thought it was an art book, so nobody backed it.
Oh no.
You've done 6 campaigns on Indiegogo.
Yep.
4 of them Tales of the Natverse, and you've done 2 other ones. One of them being what was it? Blood. I had it here down in the list. Blood Hunt, right?
Yep.
And what was the last one? What was the 6th one?
But the sixth one that says in there, it says Six Gun Gorilla because
Yeah.
Brian hooked me up to it because I always help him out, and I did some sketch art and stuff, and he always puts me in as a team member, and I
think that's
appreciate it.
awesome. Yeah. It's great to see that when you're scrolling through somebody's when you're scrolling through someone's campaign history and you notice like, oh, he was linked to that campaign, which I think is going to be really cool if we ever, do that with Mavericks for the next campaigns. We're going to have people that we're working with. Clicking them and linking them to the campaign might be really neat. So it shows that
because it shows that you're part of it. Yeah. It's like people think I only did 6 campaigns, but I've technically been part of I think 100.
Yeah. Oh wow.
By the print covers and
Yep. You did that awesome print for us.
Could you imagine the list there if I was linked to all of those campaigns?
That would be insane. Yeah. You have as many campaigns you've created as campaigns you've backed, right?
Yeah.
We got Genuine Comics Dave Brink with us saying hi to everybody, including you.
And I'm not just a creator. I'm also a big backer. I just have to tone down a little bit lately because one, I'm in Canada, and 2, everything's going up, and I'm also a single dad, right? Since 2006. So right now,
priorities.
But then
everything's going
help
up.
me make more money. The more money I make, the more things I can buy. I can buy more books.
You have a campaign coming up.
And for us, we're making stuff too, right? So we have to keep budget for the things that we're doing. As much as I want to patronize other people and back their campaigns and give them money, it's I got my own books that I'm doing, so maybe I'll pay them to get involved.
Comic book fans. We're actual big comic book fans. Look, I'm not kidding.
Yep.
You see that
right
here? I'll show you which one. Just here. All of this is my crowdfunding.
Nice.
It's all stuff
very cool.
Yeah, but here's my Liam Sharp book.
Yeah.
I got the whole bunch of Ashcan that I got there. Testament 1 and 2.
Nice.
The Lost Pages is here. I got the Expendables. I got a whole bunch of stuff.
That's awesome.
I'm a comic book fan, and
And you have Transformers.
Yeah. Guys, that's what got me into this is being a comic book fan, wanting to participate in the creation of comic books and the culture of comics.
The reason why I said comics get in the beginning, it's because the reason is this: I tried crowdfunding. I didn't see myself as being in it. Get it? The CG part. It's the one that opened up the door for new IPs because I kept bringing it up, and I know you've heard me say this before, but before CG. Any artist agrees with me. You would be in any con trying to promote your own IP that you're trying to put together, and people will go, do you have Batman? Do you have Spider-Man? Can you do Pokemon? And you're like, yeah, I can. But nobody really cared about new IPs. All they wanted was DC, Marvel, and this. Even Dark Horse and Image had trouble being in comic book stores.
Yep.
You would go to your comic book store and you wouldn't find Image. You wouldn't find Dark Horse. You wouldn't find IDW. It was just Marvel, DC, and some Dark Horse. But it was Aliens, Predator, Star Wars, and that was it.
Yeah.
Right? But with all of this shit is now you go to cons, you could have Batman, a whole bunch of Batman on your table. They go, oh, that's a cool Batman. Yeah. Do you have anything of your own? And that dude, the first time that happened, I'm like, oh crap, we made it. we finally made it. And I'm like,
people want to see my stuff. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when I wanted to come in with the not the Merc, but then there was a lot of sci-fi and stuff like that, and I'm like, you know what? Because I don't know if you remember when I first came, I was like, not the Merc, it's coming, and I'm like, hold on, there's everything. What's not horror? Blood Hunt.
Blood Hunt killed, man. Blood Hunt did really well.
Mm-hmm. Now
there's another one on the horizon too, from what I understand, right?
There's actually 2 on the horizon, but it's on the slow burner. And I did say that I was not going to touch it before 2 years. And I don't know if you realize, but we're just hit technically the 2 years mark.
Yeah.
And now Blood Hunt has its own Inkslayer variant cover on print on demand on the website. Oh, so there's also a Blood Hunt Doc Salem crossover in the works. With Preston.
That's cool. That's cool. I got Doc Salem right over there.
About to say that.
So me and Preston were talking about him. He's working on the second issue of Doc Salem. I'm gonna be. I'm starting to write the Blood Hunt number 2, and the Blood Hunt Doc Salem is gonna be a crossover between the two. We're thinking of splitting them in 2. because he wrote a 48-page. We're like, hey, we just want to do a short little thing. He wrote an extra, like a full book. But the story's pretty freaking cool. Like, they're gonna be fighting, like, it's technically Doc Salem and Vincent taking on Lovecraft. You could say.
Oh, dude, great idea. Lovecraft really plays well. A lot of people like cash in on that Cthulhu thing, but doing your own version of it and like the whole cosmic horror genre will attract a lot of readers. And so I got to ask you some of these more like serious questions, and we still should probably look at the campaign page a little bit
and watch my new trailer with a lot of animation in it that I did on my own.
Definitely should.
That is awesome.
Go ahead with the question. I like these questions.
So the questions, all right. So let's take a look here. First off, why don't you just give us the pitch for Tales from the Natverse for people who don't know? Who is Nat? What's he all about? What's going to happen in this book that's been different from, Natverse 1? Let us know what's going on.
So Natverse is technically an anthology, but I hate using anthology as a term for it, because it's more a collected edition in one book. It's like, remember like the Marvel DC superhero deluxe edition, where you would buy one and there would be four or five comics in one. This is actually what inspired me to do what I'm doing. Right? I wanted to have like heavy metal. Imagine every short story at the end of like 5 short stories, you go, they're all connected? They know each other? Huh? And that's how I started in Zidara 9. Nobody knew what I was doing. So the first story, you had remember the name in Tales from Natverse 1. It was followed by Prelude. And the idea was to have it called Fate Prelude. The character Fate, right? That's in the black and white story. And then people would find out that it was a Nat story by the origin, was seeing him as a baby. Then people would expect to have another Nat. No, it was Rose. Then it was going to be Loani and Nat. And the idea was to just surprise everybody going, I'm just telling you one big story, building one big universe in short stories. But it got canceled. So this is what I'm doing right now with Tales from the Natverse. And Tales from the Natverse 2 is the final one. That's why I knew that the first campaign was going to be like, not a hit and miss, but not everybody was going to jump on as much as Bloodhunt in the beginning, because it was a lot of people were saying, but it's a reprint of old stuff. Half of it was reprints, and the other half was new material. And I made sure to add more stuff in it to make sure that it was half and half.
Right. So
the second one, though, it's entirely new stories. Some were written before. Planet 69 is actually the first story I ever wrote of Nat. And the second issue introduces you to Loani, because the main thing is, you have to understand is it's not called the Natverse, the universe, but they all share the same universe. Now, to tell you more about the characters at themselves, now that I, technically explained the book, Nat is a mercenary. He was born. He was made out of an experiment. He's born with that metal arm. He's been a merc since he's been a kid. So in this book, you're going to see a hint of him as a kid. What happened with the big shark guy? Remember what the entire scene that was set up with Gillian? You're getting to find out what happened in this book, and in the next book you get the actual fight.
Oh, dude, that's great.
The next book is Nat the Merc Intergalactic Man of Action. So to give you a quick pitch of what Nat is, he's a hybrid. Nobody knows what an arm is. Only he's born with it. It has some weird ability where it gives him technomancing. Technically, abilities where he can touch stuff and technically like hack, technology. He can change it into a sword. He can change it in different shape, but he doesn't really know how it works.
This shark dude, right? Yeah, it's badass. And if you look earlier, Nat's got his arm going. He could turn it into a sword. It's almost like T-1000 style. In a way, like he can change the shape of it and do. Cool
it has
stuff.
To keep that arm, that shape of arm. Like he cannot change the entire arm as a blade. But one of the things that right after that, you see him, he impels the cyborg.
Yep, in his back. Yeah,
he starts hacking her information. And
it's like nanomachines, son.
Yeah, technically that's how it is. It's like a mix of like nanomachine and symbiotes, right?
Oh, that's dope.
That's a bit what it is. So the premise of Nat is he doesn't know much about himself, and he's on the path of trying to figure it out. And the story starts where he kind of like just wants to get his job done. But then after you stop, it's like us. We stop looking for answers, and then shit starts happening, right? That guy finds you, then this. You thought that guy was dead in this, and then that's how it starts. So a set of events going to lead him to the path of his genesis. Then Bob is his dad, the only person that raised him as a kid. So that's why he's a bit weird. And his best friend is Zed, and the inspiration of Zed is like I mix Alf and Garfield. Like people ask me where I came up with him. I'm like it's Alf and Garfield mixed together.
Zed's got a great personality.
Does he like cat lasagna?
He hates Mondays.
With cats made into lasagna.
Yeah, because Elf likes to eat cats and Garfield likes to eat lasagna.
Now, if you fed that to Garfield, you'd be an abomination.
It's
Did
true.
Did you notice that in one of the first page of Blood Brothers, Zed is working on the bike and Alf is out cold, drunk with the cat chow. he's leaning on the what was it in Borderland? There's the Borderland boxes. You see Alf, he's just there with his cat chow.
I'm gonna check that out now. I'm gonna look for it.
Yeah, if you take the time to watch that, look at that page in the background, you're gonna see the Thundercats. You're gonna see a whole bunch of stuff in the junkyard. I took a lot of time in that junkyard.
That's awesome. Frog G says it's like Nano Machine and
Symbiotic.
Symbiotic.
Oh
Got it.
God,
I appreciate you, Frog.
You just saw it?
No, the pun, the symbiotics.
I appreciate
that hurts. That hurts
Yeah,
so
it was
much.
funny.
Yep, you do that a lot. You do stick a bunch of fun stuff in the background.
And Alf is almost in every goddamn book. That's for sure.
So why do you like Alf so much?
I grew up with him. Like it's kind of a thing. Like, dude, I even have the plush from back in the days. Like it's right there. He's looking at us. See?
Oh yeah, look at that. Wait, hold on, let me make you big because I don't think I noticed that. Oh yeah, I see it hiding up there.
Yeah. I've had it for a long time. Like that thing. Do you know how I got it? I was a fan of the show. My grandma was walking through one of those thrift shops, like my grandma, and she got to the cash, and it was hanging to the Velcro of his jacket.
Oh, that's
and she
cool.
she went like, I'm buying this for Sim. I remember him watching the show, and I've had it ever since.
That's a cool
That's
mom.
awesome.
It's a very cool mom.
Great.
We got Padrino with us.
Hey, Wingo.
Bero's gay.
And to cover up the thing that's just sort of before we get diverted, Rose gets introduced, but in Tales of Never's 2, you get to know Luwani. Luwani was a synthetic body made to save Rose's life because she was dying of cancer, and she got stolen. Her dad got killed. She was left for dead, and the body became Luwani. She was sold to somebody, and she became the servant of the big boss of Planet 69, and that's where I stopped. And the only thing that I will hint, because I've done it already, because in Tales of Never's 2, you see a story of her before she meets Nat. You have Nat Demur Planet 69, where she meets Nat, and then you have Metal Valkyrie, where you see who she is now. And who she is now, it's a pretty freaking cool, badass babe. She looks like an MMA fighter that could kick your teeth in. And she also has a freaking huge bag that can become a full body armor and guns and weapons and stuff. So yeah, very inspired from all my anime I love and stuff. Like as you know, Mashimun Shido, all those great guys influenced me a whole hell. And I love Bubblegum Crisis. And if you watch Bubblegum Crisis, Angel Cop, and all those stuff, where my inspiration comes from. She's not them, but the inspiration comes from it, and Black Lagoon. I love Black Lagoon.
Yeah, Black Lagoon. You also I remember because we were talking about Mecha back in the day when we were talking about you working with us, and you love Mazinger Z. And I love
Mazinger, but Grendizer.
I love the fact that you love Mazinger. However, we all say it differently. But the fact that you love that is just fantastic because so many people don't remember that series. The design was so clean, it was a little bit simplistic, but it was definitely imposing. And just the fact that you called that out, I really like that.
Here's my Grendizer.
I think you pick.
Yeah, there he is. Awesome.
That's Grendizer. Mazinger is the other one with the two things and the thing that goes in the head. Oh, dude, I love them. I made Scotsman watch the Mazinger Z Infinity the other day.
That's fantastic. So,
I love that stuff. And as you know, like I've told you before, you do have mechs in the Telson and Latverse. I just don't play with it that much right now.
not that much yet.
Yes.
I'm sure you will.
I've
Gonna
shown you
build
a
it
few
out.
things, but
Yep, I've seen them.
Mhm.
Yep. So I gotta ask, a lot of creators tell us that the best way to increase your sales is to improve your reach and grow your platform. What does that mean to you specifically? What does grow your platform mean? And how would you go about doing it?
but it depends of the people. There's not everybody's made to do YouTube. Am I right? Not
Yeah, but you
everybody's
do
done.
a show with Sugar, right?
Yeah, I do my show with Sugar every like Monday, Wednesday, and sometimes Saturday morning. I have the shows of Doodle and Chill every Saturday, and I have the Inkslayer art show that we do every Sunday. And those are technically the current thing. And I'm slowly building my own little internet platform. But to me, it's not just YouTube. That's one of the things that a lot of people seem to lose their sight. It's like they think that it's just YouTube. Then you're becoming a YouTuber. You're becoming a drama hunter or something like that, right?
Yeah.
You're looking. You're hunting for the clicks. You're looking for the bake. Building a platform. It's not just building a web. It's building a website. And I was one of the first one to tell everybody to start your own little business. And it doesn't have to be an ink. Start just by your own little LCS. I think LC. LLC. You call it? LLC. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Because us is just like private business. You can do your own little personal private business, or you go ink. So you do your own thing. So I went to take a business course because of this. Like in 2018 when I launched the first campaign, I went to business because I was like, I don't know anything about shipping. I don't know anything about international anything. And I tried to be a self-employed guy, and I didn't know you could deduct every freaking thing from taxes and your expenses, right? So I went to take a 2-year business course, and that's when I launched That's when I launched Blood Hunt. I was actually in school again because I went back to university in my 30s, and then I went back to freaking all while being a single dad, and I wanted to build my own thing. It's one of the things I'm a lucky guy because I have great kids. I have a great family.
That's awesome.
And they're also very supportive. They love what I do. So
That's the best.
I count myself pretty lucky. But that's what I think building a platform is not just about people put emphasis on being the YouTuber, but anything in crowdfunding, you have 50%. Okay. There's more than this, but let's just say 50% are people that will back you because they like you on YouTube. They'll buy anything. So if you're a YouTuber and they like you, they're going to go support your thing. It's like selling merch, right?
Right.
It's technically a merch. And then you have the comic book people. Comic book people, they're not so much on watching YouTube all the time and stuff like that. So you need to be everywhere. So you need to be on every social media. That's a platform. You have to build your own website and start building the traffic to you. No, that's the reason why. That's one of the reasons why I haven't started my own crowdfunding on my website, even though I was one of the first ones to talk about it. It's because I don't have that much traction on my website. And the best way of doing it is to be able to build somewhere else, then grab that people and go, I have a website. So gradually, I'm trying to build the attention to my website. People go subscribe to my website, my own mailing list. That's why I have a royalty reward. That's the thing I wanted to tell you about. What is fun?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, tell us about loyalty rewards.
There's an app where it's royalty rewards, where people buy stuff and they get a reward. And what I did with mine is I called it the Inkslayer token. So the more you buy, the more you collect some tokens, and then when you get to like 250 tokens, you get $5 discount, or you can do free shipping, or you can do royalty rewards. The more you come back, the more you get discounts. You can collect them as much as you want, or maybe collect yourself a free purchase down the line. And that's the little thing that shows at the bottom right there. So when you click on it, it's kind of like having your own mailing list. You can connect this to MailChimp too.
Very cool.
Like Shopify is one of the things that I've been telling people, and I'll give credit to the one that brought my attention to Shopify, Adam Lawson.
Yep.
He was the one that brought my thing because he goes, "Oh, I just put my store up there where you can buy my previous thing," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm curious." And I'm like, "Okay, Shopify," and I'm like, "What's apps? What do you mean by apps?" Then I started researching apps, and I'm like, "Holy crap, there's crowdfunding. Holy crap, there's pre-sales. Holy cow, you can print on demand anything you want. Like right now, I'm working on the first Inkslayer calendar.
Very cool.
Is it an art calendar, or are you going to be taking photos in cosplay?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the Burt Reynolds pause. That's gonna be the main
Right?
cover. Like on
lay
the fair thing.
there all the chest hair and everything.
Yeah, and I have it, you know.
Right? Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I was
I'm a
talking to
hairy
Lawson
man.
today. We were talking about the state of comic books as a business industry and how Marvel, DC, and Disney have been impacting the pie, as it were, and how much of it's available for smaller publishers getting involved and trying to stake their claim in comics. And
One
it
of the
was a
things
little bit of a depressing conversation. I'll admit.
One of the things I think that people forget about a lot of things, and again that came from my business aspect. You know, when you learn certain things, it's nice. Like you learn animation, you look at animation in a different way, right? And one of the things that I've realized is that those big companies, you know, like any companies that are part of the entire domain, that it be social media, that it be comic books, they all meet up once or twice a year to discuss their plans and what they're going to do for the industry. They're rivals, but they don't kill each other. They don't try
Right.
to cancel each other or stupid shit, you know? So it's one of the things that I think that people needs to, and that's what I'm seeing a bit more right now. That's why I was telling everybody, create your own little companies, your own little crew, but don't forget, intermingle, interact.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Connect.
do
Connect with each
crossovers.
other.
Crossovers.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't just freaking lock yourself up to your goddamn groups, because then you fall yourself into an ecosystem, and then you're in the echo market. And last thing you want to be in is stuck in an echo market.
Right.
You want to grow. You need to reach outside. You need to be able to go otherwhere. That's why I put Blood Hunt on that global comics thing. As a digital comic book, I'm testing the ground. We need to reach readers, visibility. Like we want the Japanese to find our goddamn books. We want Mexico to have our books. Like it's one of the things. Like somebody was telling me, goes, Sim, why are you doing print on demand? I think maybe print on demand might be devaluating an IP, right? And I'm like, yeah, but dude, let me tell you this that way. Your IP might be worth something to you, but as long as there's no demand, no readers, it's worth nothing. So if you do a campaign and it's not alive after the campaign, there's nothing after the campaign, it falls into the ether. There's no worth as there's no demand. So you can sell your IP now, but people are going to give you $1,000 for it. But if you have 5,000 readers that read your goddamn thing, you can ask to fucking Lair and Eastman what happens then.
You lose out on the money, you also lose out on the creative control and the future of the IP. Yeah. Mo says that's a good point, Sim. You don't want to isolate yourself from potential backers. Absolutely true. Another reason why you should try and run on multiple platforms.
And
find
also be
multiple
professional.
Groups.
Like I remember I used to say that before. Remember when you have a job, you don't like to like everybody at your job to get the job done.
Right.
Just focus on your job. Like I don't get it. Like I just it's like it's just one of the things. It's like, oh, I hate those people. Who cares? Like you're going there to compete. Like we're winning.
My goodness,
Like,
it's Aaron
things.
Calamieri, creator of Murder Weapon. What's up, Aaron? Good to have you with us.
Also, Hellzone, we're working on Hellzone. The sign up is up. You can go sign up because as soon as it decides to go live, it's going live. There's 42 pages already done out of the 47.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, it's very
57.
close to being finished.
Yeah.
Very close.
I can find that.
So, other than, don't isolate yourself, other than start your own website and
Be
reach out to
sociable, be
collaborate with other
likable.
people. What's that?
Be sociable, be likable.
Yeah. Other than all of that, do you have any advice for new creators that are trying to get into crowdfunding?
Into crowdfunding.
Is there anything that they should be doing to be successful at crowdfunding if they don't know what they're doing?
One, keep your expectation very low. You should probably come in with the idea that you're going to fail. If you remember me, I knew when I came in that Blood Hunt was probably not. I had hopes that it would work, but I also knew there was a high possibility that it was going to fail because nobody knew who the hell I was. And if you remember, people started finding out about me what I did in the campaign in the last week or two of the 2 month campaign. So I already knew that I was building. You know what I mean? So if you remember, I was already planning around 2 when I launched. In case that would happen, because I knew that nobody would know me, and the best way to break the ice is to go, hey, what? Boof, I'm there. And then when they discover you, it doesn't work. Well, it's okay. Hold on. Give me more.
Yeah, and I mean, you've run with it. You've run with it too. You've had
and I
so
called
many
it round
campaigns
2. If you remember, it was like Bloodhound round 2.
and 2, yeah.
And I got funded in 2 weeks back then. You remember?
It was, and you ran that for I don't know, how long did you have it up once you closed it down?
Almost a year.
Almost a year. Yeah,
almost a year, because I remember I was delayed too because of like Indiegogo was trying to send me money for 4 months and a half.
And so I think to this day, it's still your highest earning campaign, I believe.
Yep. But one, it was a black and white, and it was very like horror and visibility.
Right. I mean, a lot of people love horror books, right? And I mean, that's probably why you're going to be revisiting that Eldritch Horror Cthulhu stuff with Doc Salem. That's smart.
It's also why I decided to cut Tales from the Natverse right now, because it's also harder to pitch an anthology series. That's why from now on it's not Demerk and Luani, because it's going to be way easier to pitch Nat, right, and Luani than pitching. Oh, here's the big Natverse thing, and then it's an anthology series. Then it's going to be this, and I'm like, it's a hard pitch when you have to explain it too much. Does that make sense? It's one of the main things, like keep it simple, stupid, right? Yep. And I'm like, I'm getting to the point that I thought it was clever. Tales from the Natverse, I'm going to build a thing, and I'm like, I got to the point where I'm like, well, I think it's time for me to go simpler. So Tales from the Natverse done, and from now on, you're going to get Nat Demerk with a Tales from the Natverse story. You're going to get Luani with a Tales from the Natverse story or 2.
Right, and that's great, because focusing in on one character leads to audience having, like you said, a narrower focus on what the book is going to be about, simpler expectation, and then when you introduce a little bit of extra stuff, they go, oh, that's exciting. You get a little Luani story on the side, or maybe you get to see some Rose action, or a buddy cop team up between Nat and Zed.
Or like I keep saying, like, people, let me know if there's characters that you see in the background, or somebody that died that you're like, hey, that character was cool. Can I know more about that guy? I'll make it. Like, that's one of the things
we're going to have to get you to license Alf so that you can do an Alf story as a backup in one of the books. That would be.
I didn't think about it.
I mean, I wonder who's got the
wasn't it Fox? I think that had it now.
The copyright. Go find out. You never know. It might be cheap to license. Who knows? Anyway, Frog G says, gotta have some stories from the Red Dress Planet. That's a little nod at Sugar Chris.
Well, Sugar Chris is already dead in that story, in one of the stories now.
Oh, he already died.
No.
Oh,
yeah, in Metal Valkyrie, he's riding a hover bike. And he's like, oh, damn, I'm going to be late for the morning roast. And then Luani comes in, kicks him off the bike and steals the bike.
Fantastic.
I mean, but if you got to go, that's a good way to go.
Yeah.
Then when he falls, he goes, not again. And that's
So before we take off out of here, is there anything else you want to tell the audience?
Yeah, back the book. You're not going to regret it. It's good. Especially if you like the first one. It's there's a lot more, and like I promised, I'm upping up the octane. Is that it? Bringing up the energy.
Upping the octane. Yep.
Yeah, upping the octane on it. Like, it's more story, more condensed stories instead of being a little short story. Like I said, they're like most of the stories are like 20-page more, except the Murder Doll that's shorter. But Murder Doll, there's another story coming in the Luani's thing. But the thing is, this is not Tales from the Natverse. It's limited. I'm not reprinting them after this. So if you want those books are not getting reprinted. The stories in it, somewhat they will be reprinted in other collections, but I'm not reprinting those books. Tales from the Neverse.
As
smart.
it is.
Done.
No,
Right.
that's the way we're doing it too. That's a very smart way to market it to people so that they know they're getting something that's one of a kind and isn't going to be continued after that. You can repackage the material, but that particular format is a one and done.
That's it. And you, if I don't know if you remember, one of the things I promised is I would do a type of collected edition that would put everything linear as one big story. Because you realize by now that Blood Brother is the current story and it's building up. Same thing with Mellow Valkyrie. So the thing is, I have a plan where you're going to have Planet 69 and all the stories going to be all into one and everything's going to be connected. Like I've teased everybody that, remember that Elrica story is actually connected to Blood Brothers.
Huh.
So, and that's walking in at the end of the fight. That's why you see him in the stadium. If you pay attention, you see a ship next to the planet, and he's in the stadium.
Cool. I got to go back and check that out then. All right, man. Well,
I would say go check out the video. The video is freaking awesome.
oh yeah,
and
we should watch the trailer before we take off. Hold on, I'm a
and
dumbass.
you definitely want to grab that mini because I'm printing just enough for the campaign, and I'm not doing them. I'm not doing that model
That's
again.
not me.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't know what you did.
I don't know what's. This is why I don't click buttons, right? You're always like, let me click the buttons, and
Well,
then when I click
didn't-
buttons and you're not around to click buttons, look what
I'm
happens.
right here.
Okay.
It's the one that's on the mean. Here we go. We're gonna watch it. Ready?
Hello, my name is Sim, and welcome to the Natverse.
Yeah, man,
awesome.
that was great.
I was like jamming out.
Who did all of the animation, the After Effects? That was you. And who did the music? Was that like royalty free? Grab that off of Adobe?
Nope, I bought it.
Nice.
I hired Dark Cabin Studio to it's a guy on that does a lot of music and stuff like that on YouTube. He has a channel. Check it out. He does he does stuff that you can use. Like it's what I use when I do my streams. I use usually it's Dark Cabin Studio that I put in my background. But I hired the guy to do that song just for me, and it cost me. It's not cheap, but it's totally worth it. That I don't have any problems anywhere I go. It's mine.
Yeah. That's awesome, and it's good too. I was jamming out while we were.
Yeah. Now what I want is to get somebody to sing some lyrics in there.
That would be very cool.
Because the idea is to have an
do you have
animated
anyone
intro.
in mind? Do you have anyone in mind, like a type of singer? Like you could
Yeah,
get Luke
I figured that
to
punch.
just like scream.
Yeah.
I figured that punch.
That would be dope.
Nice.
No, I'm sorry. Like I imagine that guy voicing that. Like when somebody's like, "Who's the voice?" I'm like, I would say the guy from Five Finger Death Punch because he has that. He has that nice tone voice, right? Like when he's calm and stuff. You hear the growl in his voice, and I'm like, I want that. This is not like this is the guy that can talk to you. Hi, and then he gets pissed. You're gonna hear the growl in his voice, and that's why I like that. The voice actor that came in, he picked up on it because he does it. And when he goes,
That's awesome.
and it was out of nowhere. He sends me a video. Hey, here, I did this for you. I'm like, holy shit. And he's an actual voice actor that does video games and anime. And I'm like, oh crap.
That's awesome.
And I heard his voice. He doesn't sound anything like that.
That's always
And
the
he
best
does
when they
Bob.
sound like
Yeah.
normal people, and then suddenly some weird voices coming out, and you're like, "Damn, how'd you do that?"
What?
Yeah, and he does Bob as well. Like both voices is him, and I'm like,
Wow.
damn it.
I didn't realize it was the same guy. That's cool.
Mhm. And he already recorded all the dialogues from Remember the Name. Like I told him I was going to start working on the animation. Remember, like the little anime episode I've been working on.
Yep.
He sent me the recording of all the lines, the entire story already. I was like,
Wow.
holy crap!
That's awesome.
All I have to do is get people to do the big boss, the other characters, Marv,
Right.
and those characters. I need to get people for them, but he nailed everything else. And I need to get Luani and Rose.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's very cool.
You could definitely. You're on the precipice of making something awesome right there.
I can't wait for that. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. We'll have to have you on again when when you get that all taken care of, man.
But as you know, it's a lot of work, and it's a side project of mine because
It really it is.
So a lot of people are like, yeah, but you're doing this, you got to do this, but I want to do all of this. I am doing all of this. But one thing's first is the IP dominates. If the IP doesn't grow, if the IP doesn't build, none of what I'm doing is worth nothing.
Right. Yep.
It's nobody knows what Mavericks are, and you start building all the minis. You're investing money at a loss at this point, hoping for the best. But you know very well that unless people know about your IP first, they're not going to sell as much. I think that's why a lot of people try to have figurines quickly and they didn't sell as much. That's it. No, not everybody's Ethan.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to be it for us tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Really had a good time hanging out with you, Sim, and talking all about Tales of the Natverse.
Yes.
Be sure to check out the
happened to Sim?
campaign.
We lost Sim.
I don't know.
Sim, where'd you go? Oh, no.
We'll get him back. Is he in the back? He's not in the backstage, right?
No, he's like gone.
Oh.
Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, here he
There
is.
he is. I don't know.
yeah.
We just dropped him for a second.
I was like, woo.
I know. I just got booted out, and I'm like, okay, retry.
It wasn't me.
No, that was very
No,
weird.
it wasn't you.
I can never get an outro.
That wasn't me that time. That had nothing to do with that. It was not me. That was the fates.
So thank you
StreamYard.
everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Sim, for hanging out, talking about Tales of the Natverse. Everybody, be sure to go check that campaign out. He's got a little bit of time left. Enough time for you to back the book. So if you enjoyed the video content, please give us a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, well, then you should be subscribed. I don't know why you're not subscribed. I'm going to make Sim big because check out this art. Yo,
And
that's
who owns
gorgeous.
this?
Preston,
Who owns
Preston
this?
right there. I don't know who does own it. Who owns it, Sim?
You do.
I do. I own it.
Yes.
Yep.
That's going right up
And
there.
as you can see, it's
definitely
very
going
well
up there.
protected.
Oh,
And
very
you want to see
nice.
something
Very
else?
nice.
Want to know
What?
a surprise before we close?
Yeah, man. Oh, what? That's so cool.
That's me.
at
I did the rough pencil, the layouts, and Preston finished it. This
That's
is how the book is
Nat
gonna
on the
this is-
left, and that's Doc Salem on the right.
No,
yeah?
it's Vincent.
Who's on the Vince? Oh, it's Vincent on the right.
Yeah.
That's
awesome. That's
That's
really
for the
cool.
Bloodhound Doc Salem, and look at this, the deep ones. Like I
What
said,
are those?
the deep
What are
ones from
those?
Cthulhu. Yeah.
Very cool.
So this is
That's
yours,
awesome.
and this is
Thank
something
you.
in the works.
Something
I
in the
can't
works.
wait
Yeah.
for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got it. I can't wait for that crossover. That
Yeah.
crossover going to be so cool.
It's going to be very awesome.
So thanks everybody. Don't forget you can click the bell to know when we go live next.
And tune into the frequency.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Later.